me. I'm back for another YouTube video and welcome to my little kind of review slash talk about the Totoro stage show in London. Now, I went with a really good friend of mine from work and we both really thoroughly enjoyed the show. So this video will include spoilers and some images from the show slash behind the scenes. I will not be sharing any photos that the Royal Shakespeare Company themselves haven't shared, so that means photos of Totoro himself, just to keep the magic alive and, you know, stick with what they say. Because in the theatre themselves they even said, please do not take any photos of Totoro and his friends and definitely don't share them. So I will be abiding by that and we'll just be talking about it. But of course the photos that I will show will be popping up on screen, but they have already been shared by the Royal Shakespeare Company or Jim Henson's Creature Shop, who are the people who made the puppets for the show, which is absolutely incredible. And if for some reason you don't know Jim Henson's Creature Shop, they are the people behind the Muppets, and also still shocks me to this day, they are also behind the animatronics and puppets and costumes, suit things used for the FNAF movie, which I will be talking about upon its 1 year release anniversary. So let's get right into the video. So first of all, I want to say the Barbican Theatre is it's huge. The Barbican Centre is absolutely massive. It has like cinema screens, it has a cafe, a mini restaurant, a bookshop, another shop. I think there's a gallery, there's the main stage, and then there's a different bit. Like at the same time Totoro was going on when I was there with my friend, there was also like an orchestra concert going on like just across the hall from us, which was absolutely insane, and we didn't realise that was going on until the interval. And it seems like it kind of matched up with the interval of the other thing that was going on, which was quite insane. But yes, the Barbican is massive and it honestly is a really good venue. And I must say, the seats that we got to sit in, it was like sitting on a sofa. It was so comfortable. Although me and George, we were on like a good like 70-degree angle, so we were quite like twisted throughout the show, so we did end up complaining about slightly sore backs at the end, but other than that it was absolutely fantastic. There was a bar, you could buy drinks before, during and after the show. They had ice creams, it was all sorts of really cool fun stuff, and you can't say no to an ice cream during a show, so we did get a sorbet. Not an ice cream, but they had mango sorbet, and we got those during the interval, which was 10-15 minutes long. I'm not 100% sure, they didn't really announce it. The show just kind of stopped and then it started again, which was very confusing, but it's a whole different thing. So yes, it was held at the Barbican Centre. It's still there, I believe. I don't think it's quite near the end of its run yet, although I know that it is not continuing horrendously much longer. I think it's only on for a couple more months. But yeah, absolutely insane. So let's talk about the companies behind the show before we talk about the show itself. So, as I have already mentioned, the puppets for the show were created by the Jim Henson Creature Shop, which is absolutely incredible. I will insert some pictures of their past work up here so you can see what the Jim Henson Creature Shop are capable of. Like I said, you may know them just for like the Muppets, which is fine. Like most people's knowledge of Jim Henson stops at the Muppets, which, if you're not a huge nerd, understandable, right? And the name Jim Henson, you think of Kermit the Frog. I always think of the original Kermit, so Kermit back when he had a little red jumper on, very cute. If you haven't seen that, I will insert a photo here of Kermit in his little red jumper. It's so cute. Anyway, so Jim Henson's Creature Shop don't just do the Muppets, they do puppets and other things like that. And like I had mentioned as well, they create the animatronics and the costume suits for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and they will be continuing to work with Blumhouse for the other movies for FNAF, which is really exciting because they did such a good job. Here are some behind the scenes and finished photos of the work they did on Five Nights at Freddy's, which So gay. I remember the first leak that happened. I will talk about this more when I do my in-depth FNAF movie video later on in the year. But I remember the original leak being just someone who works at the creature shop posting like a goodie bag that they got, and next to it, right in the corner, you could see Foxy's eye, and it was like, oh my god, it's game accurate. So the main thing that you need to know about Jim Henson's Creature Shop is they are very, very accurate to what they do. They put a lot of love, a lot of time, and a lot of care into their puppets. So here are some behind the scenes photos of them making Totoro and his friends, and I don't know if you can really tell from the images, but incredible work. Absolutely incredible work. I was so impressed when I saw the puppets on stage. They had so much life. But yeah, so Jim Henson's Creature Shop, they are probably the best puppet makers in the industry, and if you are going to make anything that needs a puppet, the company you want to work with is Jim Henson's Creature Shop. And I didn't realise that the Totoro puppets were made by Jim Henson's company until we looked at the program, which I'll show you in a bit. But yeah, so that was Jim Henson's Creature Shop. They did the puppets, and they were absolutely astounding. Absolutely fantastic. I'll insert more images as I'm talking about them of what I can show you, because they have already posted said pictures. So that is kind of a brief rundown of my basic knowledge of the Jim Henson Creature Shop. I don't know a lot, I'm gonna be honest, but there's not much to say when most people know who they are anyway. You can just say Jim Henson without saying the whole thing. They'll be like, oh, Muppets, and extends catalogue. I will insert some really notable examples of things that they worked on here. Yeah, just they put a lot of hard work into what they make, and you can tell that they love doing it, and I love that with the company. That is the puppets out of the way. The actual production itself is the Royal Shakespeare Company, who have put on this production of the show, and there's not much to say about the Royal Shakespeare Company, because like Jim Henson's Creature Shop, you can say the name and people will instantly know what you're talking about. They are one of the most renowned theatre companies ever, probably, especially here in the UK. Royal Shakespeare Company, contrary to popular belief, they do more than just Shakespeare. I mean, obvious, they did Totoro. But yes, so the Royal Shakespeare Company put on this production, and they did such an amazing job. I can't remember off the top of my head who did the sets, but the sets were incredible. The orchestra, so good. And there was a live singer as well, actually doing the songs from the show. And the songs were sung in a mixture of Japanese and English. The show itself is entirely in English, apart from every now and then you'd hear a little Japanese phrase and you'd be like, oh, I like that, that's cute. Which is a completely different thing to, you'll get a video later on in the year when I actually go and see it, but that is very different to how the Spirited Away stage show has been done. Spirited Away, I believe, is entirely in Japanese, and when you're at the theatre you get subtitles. I'm seeing it in August. I will take you guys with me for that one, I promise. I was going to take you guys to Totoro, but I got so sidetracked and so caught up in the moment. I was like, no, I'm not going to take my phone out and record content. I'll just talk about it with you guys when I'm done. So yes, so the Royal Shakespeare Company and Jim Henson Creature Shop did the show. When we got into the theatre, we pretty much went straight to the merch table. Who doesn't? So the merch was actually decently priced, apart from the official Totoro stuff. They had like Totoro plushies imported from Japan, and a lot of money. I was like, oh, there's a really cute coin purse, I might get that. I looked at the price tag and I went, nah, no. No, I know this is important from Japan, but a tiny Totoro plushie this big, £50. It's where I draw the line. £50, no. I can get like 3 Build-A-Bears for that. So ultimately we didn't get plushies, but I did get a few things. And that is the program and the pin badge. That's what I got at the merch store originally. And then we went further in to like the theatre and we saw another store and they had books. Now I wanted originally to get like an art book of Totoro or just Studio Ghibli artwork because the art's fantastic, and as an art student I really love looking at the art of the things that I love. They were really expensive as well. However, I did get one book, and that is the script for the show, which you don't see a lot of shows doing that. I think the only show I have seen selling its script was Dear Evan Hansen when I went to see that. That was ages ago. That was 2019. That was almost 5 years ago, Jesus. And I say almost 5 years ago because I went in December, so it's not 5 years ago yet. That's insane. That was forever ago. Anyway, yeah, so I bought the script as well. And you may probably be wondering, how close is the show to the movie? Very, very close. I don't think I spotted any like changes really. I think they did a couple of things differently because obviously you've got the movie and putting it on a stage is very different, but they did very, very well with it. So anyway, when we got to the theatre, we got our stuff, went to the toilet, and I'm glad we went when we did, because when I came out, the queue was huge. So we went like 10 minutes before they opened the doors, and I was like, no one waiting when I went, and then I came out and there was just a huge queue of women waiting to go to the toilet. I'm like, I'm very, very glad I didn't have to wait in that. But yes, so obviously we did that. We went through, took our seats. We were like, oh, this is very, very comfortable. Very good. And we had a very good view of the stage as well. We were one of the back rows in like the floor. The closest I've ever sat to the stage at a show in London, which is quite impressive. Well, because usually the tickets are so expensive. But I managed to go. And yeah, like I said, those seats were really, really comfy. If you ever go to the Barbican to see anything, guarantee you the seats are just like sitting on a sofa at home. It's very comfortable. And they already had like the title screen up, and we were like, oh, it's like a projected screen. And then the show started and the letters were moving. And then the bugs, like at the beginning of the movie, genuinely they had like the bugs and everything coming on. And then I saw the strings. The title itself was a puppet. It was insane. And it was incredible. And then obviously the spider puppet brings the title screen up and you get introduced to the characters. I must say, I was really, really impressed by the lady who played May. She had her mannerisms down perfectly, and you know the way that May squats in the movie, like this? Yeah, the actress did the exact same thing perfectly. There was tears streaming from like the beginning of the movie. It was like watching the movie from the beginning of the show. We cried a good couple of times, and if you do get to see it before it ends its run in London, you will cry. Guaranteed, you will cry. The way that they did the puppets was incredible. And talking of puppets, let's actually move on to talking about the puppets, because they are arguably the star of the show. So let's talk about the puppets. Puppet wise, you had the creatures, the title. They had little cardboard puppets for when they were like further away. You had the soot sprites, were like tiny little fuzzy balls on sticks attached with like a wire, and they would bounce around and play around, and that was really cute. Obviously you have the two little guys. They were really cute as well. They had a couple of puppets each. Cat Bus had 2 puppets as well. You had massive Cat Bus, who is an inflatable puppet. It was really cool with like lights inside. His eyes actually had like the headlights. The little like location bit on the top, that actually spun. And there would be lights and silhouettes inside to show you who's on Cat Bus. So when it's Totoro, you'd see the silhouette of Totoro through Cat Bus's rear window. Same when the girls are in there as well. It's really, really cute. And then they had a tiny one for when he's up in the sky. And then they get like the smaller little bits along the stage. So he's like jumping across and he's tiny and he's controlled by one person. So he's got like a stick on his front end and a stick end on this end. And he's like jumping between the different bits on set. And you may question this if you are a true Totoro fan. In the movie, Cat Bus has balls, because Cat Bus is a boy Cat Bus. Don't worry, they didn't forget about that detail with the puppets. And I noticed it. I just went to my friend and I poked him and I went, they didn't forget his balls. And like, the poor person puppeteering them back is just standing underneath them, and I wouldn't want to be that person. But yes, Cat Bus had 2 puppets. And of course, the star of the show, Totoro. How many puppets did he have? Well, the first puppet that we see on stage, he pretty much takes up like 80% of the stage. He is huge. He's an inflatable puppet with puppeteers inside. His mouth moves, his eyes move and blink. He had a bit of fluff, so when he's snoring, that kind of like tickles. His whiskers moved, his hands moved, his legs moved. He tossed and turned around. He had a tongue that was puppeteered in his mouth. His nose would wiggle. It was very, very cute. A lot of articulation for such a big puppet. And I was insanely impressed by that, I must say. So Totoro puppet number 1, absolutely humongous. So that is the scene in the show / movie where Mei goes into the woods and is on top of Totoro and starts bothering him. For lack of better description, you know, she bothers him, she tickles him, and then we get introduced to Totoro properly. Then the next time we see Totoro, if I remember correctly, is at the bus stop. Then there is a slightly smaller Totoro. He's still massive, absolutely towers over the actresses. I want to say he was around 12 foot tall. He was huge. He had all the exact same articulation, obviously less puppeteers controlling him, eyes, blinking, nose, mouth, tongue, hands. I don't know if he had whisker articulation. Can't thoroughly remember, but that's another Totoro puppet we get to think about. There's even more Totoros. Then there's a slightly smaller Totoro puppet for when they are doing the little rain dance and for the trees to grow that the girls plant. That's a smaller Totoro again. Then right after that, there is an even smaller Totoro that is like, I want to say he was around this big. And he was tiny. He was attached to a wire that they sent off. He had the umbrella and the girls with him to take them up into the treetops. That's Totoro puppet number 4. I believe there was only 4 or 5 Totoro puppets, but that's like twice as much as the other characters got, which was insane. And it's an even bigger amount if you include like the paper puppets that are used on the backgrounds. They're the main characters, obviously. And then side character-wise, the chickens. They had the chickens. There are photos of the chickens online, so I'll insert the chickens here. And the goat as well. The goat was quite funny. And so were the chickens, to be fair. They were quite hilarious. So you had those. And now we're going to move on to the set. So the set itself is framed by the trees. And they move in and move out depending on what the scene is. There is a revolving table in the middle of the stage which turns the house around. The house came apart. The farmers and stuff had little clumps of like crop that they would push around to simulate the things. The corn that would move around, people would just carry that to create kind of like that maze for May when she goes running off to take the corn to her mum in the hospital. The hospital bed was on wheels, so mum would be wheeled in and out. You could see the orchestra and the singer, they were kind of like up in the treetops, which was quite nice. I like it when shows allow it so you can see the orchestra instead of hiding them like in the pits. Yeah, the set was incredible as well, and it kind of reminded me slightly of the set that we have at work for our storytelling stage, because that's kind of framed by trees, but Totoro's stage is like way better. And actually another two of my co-workers went for one of their birthdays, and she kind of had the same thought that I did. Like, imagine if we had this budget at work, we could make everything so much better and so much like cooler and fantastic. Like, imagine if our puppets looked like this, imagine if our stage looked like this, imagine if it was all a little bit more interactive. So, you know, we both kind of have had similar thoughts when it came to that. We're gonna move on to merchandise and then final thoughts on the show, because I don't want to ramble on too much, but I definitely want to talk about it, so I will be right back with my merchandise. So, like I already said, I didn't buy horrendously that much merchandise, because the stuff that wasn't like the show merch was actually quite a lot of money, because I believe it was Japan imported. But I did get 3 things, and it's all the stage kind of like poster design. So it's very green, very cute, and you've got the girls kind of with their umbrella making Totoro's nose. It's quite cute. So we've got the pin badge, the script, and the program. We'll start off with the pin badge because it's nice and small and simple and cute. So it's a cute little simple pin badge. If you know me and if you've seen the video in the past, I do collect pin badges, and I do try to get a pin badge for every show that I go see, and so I was very happy that they had Totoro pins. So it is literally just the show's design of Totoro with the girls for the logo. Very, very cute. That will go with my other theatre show pin badges on my pin board. The program's pretty big. I'm going to put it right up next to my head. This was probably the cheapest London program I've ever bought. This was £6, I believe, and I was absolutely shocked. But yes, so here is the front. Very, very cool. And when you open it up, apart from the ads, it kind of takes you through the show and stuff. So you've got a little welcome page, and then a little bit of the show talking about, not the show, but like the creative directors and stuff, talking about turning the movie into the stage show. And that goes on for a couple of pages. They've got some lovely screen grabs from the film. This is the scene I'm talking about with the tiniest Totoro puppet that they had. Very, very cute. Very, very cute. And then there's a little bit on talking about it on stage itself. And here you kind of get a glimpse of the orchestra sections. They're kind of like up in the trees. I'll stand like this. It might be a little bit better. And then they're talking with the person who adapted it for the stage, and here you can see the family just chilling. So very, very, very sweet. And it's just, the casting was phenomenal. And then there, again, a little talk with the director, and this is probably the picture that I've already used, but this is May when she finds the acorn and when she does her little squat. It's quite cute. So there's a lot to read in this. And then this is a little bit about bringing the show to life. So there's a couple of pictures in here of them building the stage, and a couple of pictures from inside Jim Henson's Creature Shop. And actually, if you look super, super carefully on her computer screen, you can see them modelling a cat bus. That is them wefting Totoro's fur, and that is Totoro's eyeball. So him standing next to it shows the size of Totoro, and I believe that's for not the biggest Totoro either. So yeah, so you've got a little bit as well about the costumes and more set design. Very, very cute. As you can probably see from these photos, they did a really good job with their accuracy. And then some pictures from rehearsal, because you have to. It's very cute. I absolutely love some of these photos. So cute. And there you go, some photos from the show. They're going to be a bit blurry for you, but I will, like I said throughout the video, there's been photos anyway. So you've got the scene of the girls at the bus stop. They've got them with Granny. There's a goat. That's them arriving. Yeah, it's all the little Soot Sprites. That's one of the singers for the show. Look, it's so cute. So many different bits that they share. And then, of course, you have the typical credits page for the show, and then you go through further, and then you get pictures of the cast, which, obviously, if you get this yourself, you can have a proper look through. Credits for the creatives and kind of like what they've done in the past. Again, more of the creatives, and then just kind of talking about like what they want the audiences to react and things like that. And then from then out, it is pretty much ads and like thank yous. So yes, but this is a very good, it's quite sizable, it's quite chunky, quite a big program, but it's very good. And then the script, which you don't see much actually for many stage shows. So the script in its entirety is in this book, and I believe it was done because it's a Royal Shakespeare Company, so they probably want schools and people to like study the script as like a thing. I don't know, but I got it anyway, and it's very good like quality. It was $10.99, I believe, something like that. But yes, it's the whole script for the show. So this is pretty much what the actors have. Very cool. Oh my god, what can I say about this show that I haven't already said? It was absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, if you do get the chance to go see it before it ends its run at the Barbican, definitely go see it, because you feel like a little kid watching it. And what was great about the show as well, there were so many different generations of people there. There were a lot of people my age, people older, there were like grandparents, and then there was little kids. Just a huge age range of people there to experience the magic of Totoro, and it was incredible, and that really helped with the environment. Yeah, just the show was really magical, and like I said, I cried a couple of times, and it was really emotional, and you didn't want to leave the theatre, because you knew as soon as you left the theatre, that magic, you're kind of leaving it behind, especially since you couldn't take any pictures at the end, not even at the bows. Like, it was just insane, and probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. And I've seen some really good shows, like I've seen some fantastic shows, especially in London, and I gotta say, this one is in my top 3, definitely, so far. After seeing Totoro on stage, I'm really excited to see what they do with Spirited Away. I'm gonna see that like 3 days before the end of its run in London, and that's gonna be at the London Coliseum. It ends at the end of August, so if you want to catch that one as well, definitely have a rummage to see if they've got any tickets left and stuff like that. I'm really grateful to have been able to go. I'm very lucky to have had the tickets, and it was such a great day out. So all I can really say is the magic of the movie and the emotions that you feel when watching the movie, you feel that and more when you see it in person on stage, and it's one of those shows where that experience is going to stay with me forever, and I'm very grateful for that. So definitely, if you have time and the money, go and check out Totoro at the Barbican Theatre in London. You won't regret it, trust me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am so sorry this didn't come out when it was originally planned, and I'm sorry that this isn't a vlog, so I didn't take you guys with me, but like I said, it was a very long day and I completely forgot to get my phone out, and by the time I remembered, it was a bit too late. We were like already at the theatre. So thank you so much for watching this video. Remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button down below as well. It tells me to keep doing it, keep making more, and also hit that bell next to it so you can get notified every time that I upload a new video, which is bi-weekly, hopefully. I got really busy the last couple of weeks, so I missed a couple of uploads, but bi-weekly is the plan. And I live stream weekly, and so my live streams are gaming videos, leaving my normal uploads to be whatever I kind of want it to be. Yeah, I appreciate every single one of you. thank you so much for joining me on this amazing journey on YouTube, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.
But you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare.